Hello there, dear friends, and welcome once again to the Relaxed Fantasy Review. Today, we're going to be talking about more feats. Feats are that wonderful rules option that when you reach certain levels in the game, 4, 8, 12, 16, and 19, you can choose to either bump your character's stats, boosting up their basic level abilities, or you can take a feat and give yourself a super powerful ability that really helps customize and boost up your character. Today we're talking about the Cleric, one of the most well-rounded characters in the whole game. Lots of armor proficiency, weapons on half of the subclasses, amazing spell casting, amazing abilities like Channel Divinity. So how do you take something like that and make it even better? Well, I've chosen a top 5 list of feats that I recommend all clerics have a look at when they get the option. But before we dive into the list, I'd like to let you know that Relaxed Fantasy Review has memberships for just $1 a month. You can support me here on YouTube. There's a join button just below the video down there. Click on that, you get a little badge next to your name in the comments, as well as my undying gratitude. Thank you so much for watching my content and enjoying the videos here on YouTube. So, Cleric Feats. First one. And this one goes with most clerics. Not all clerics can use this feat, but the majority of them can. Heavy Armor Master. Most cleric subclasses get the ability to wear heavy armor, not all, but most. And Heavy Armor Master does two things. First of all, it bumps your strength score, so this makes you better in melee combat. And the real reason we're here is that it reduces bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage by 3 for every attack. Clerics are one of those interesting classes that even though they love to stand up in the front of combat, boosting their allies, exchanging weapon attacks with enemies, and wearing heavy armor, they still only have a d8 hit die. So they can go down quite a bit easier than any other frontline character. As such, Heavy Armor Master will knock the edge off of those damaging attacks, meaning that they will actually have quite a bit more staying power up there. And this gets more powerful as the game goes on. Even though enemies are hitting harder, they're also multi-attacking more, and this works on every attack. A normal enemy in the early game that's attacking you once, that's 3 damage that you've reduced. A multi-attacking enemy near the end of the game that attacks 5 times, that's 15 damage you've just avoided. And yeah, they're still hitting you harder, but the more attacks you take, the better this feat technically gets. So, great feat from beginning to end. Next up, I'm going to talk about Warcaster. Warcaster is one of those feats that clerics love to take because it really matches their vibe in so many ways. Clerics are full casters. They have powerful magic, offensive and defensive. But you have to hold a spellcasting focus in order to cast a lot of spells. Warcaster says that you can do this while still wielding weapons and shields in your hands. You don't need a free hand to do the somatic components or a hand holding your focus. This means that you don't have to worry too much about swapping weapon for focus or not wearing a shield, reducing your defense. You can just use your weapons. You also can opportunity attack with a spell. There's a lot of single target spells that even early level clerics get, guiding bolts, inflict wounds, etc. And being able to opportunity attack with a spell like that, even Toll the Dead would be great for this, is better for most clerics than attacking with a weapon. And finally, the biggest reason we're here is that Warcaster grants you advantage on your concentration checks. A lot of clerics' power comes from their concentration. Bless in the early game, Spirit Guardians later on. Your concentration matters a lot when you're a cleric, and having advantage on any checks while you're standing on the front line taking damage pretty regularly is huge and a very, very solid pick for any cleric at all. But let's talk about something a little bit more niche. And this is one of those things that requires you to have a bit more of an understanding of the deeper mechanics of the game. This feat is called Metamagic Adept. Sorcerers get this ability just by merit of being a sorcerer. Metamagic is something that empowers spells. I made a whole video on the best metamagics that sorcerers can take. But the Metamagic Adept feat allows any spellcaster to pick 2 metamagics. Personally, I recommend that you take, in a cleric build specifically, Extended Spell and Twin Spell. And then you gain 2 sorcery points that you can use to cast these spells and use these metamagics with. Extended Spell basically doubles the length of the spells that you cast, meaning that if you wanted to cast, let's say, Aid on the party, you can use your sorcery point to extend Aid. There's a trick about this where you can cast Aid with your highest level spell slot that you've got around just before a long rest, extending its time from 8 hours to 16, meaning you'll still have that hit point buff when you wake up and then have 8 more hours of it, and it's almost like you got it for free. And then, as far as Twin Spell goes, Twin Spell allows you to take a spell that targets a specific creature and you basically spend your sorcery points to double cast it, focusing on 2 creatures. The caveat is that you have to spend a number of sorcery points equal to the spell's level, but with your 2 sorcery points, you can cast 1st and 2nd level spells and double them up. So double Guiding Bolts, or whatever else you can think of. It's a really, really handy power to have, and an unsung hero as far as cleric spellcasting goes. I think that this is one of the really, really good feats that clerics could pick up. Next on our list, we have Telekinetic, one of my favorite feats. It gives you a boost to one of your mental stats. Intelligence, Wisdom, or Charisma. We'll take Intelligence because we're a cleric. And it gives you 2 more powers. First, you get the Mage Hand cantrip, which normally isn't accessible to clerics, and you can cast it invisibly, so it just kind of looks like you're telekinetically moving things around. But the real reason that we love this feat is because of its bonus action shove mechanic. When a creature is near you, you can use your bonus action to force them to make a wisdom save against, a strength save against your wisdom. And then if they fail it, you can push them 5 feet or pull them 5 feet towards you. This is a very useful ability. Forced movement is great, and using a bonus action to shove an enemy away from you so you can get away from them, or getting them away from one of your allies, or if you really want to kill someone, you can pull them towards you if they're just out of your reach. This is just a wonderful mechanic. Forced movement is always good in D&D, and using it as a bonus action is really solid. And then finally, let's talk about Resilient, the feat. Resilient is a feat that is one of the old Player's Handbook feats, and it's very simple. You choose one of any of your 6 ability scores. In this case, we're choosing Constitution. You get a +1 to that stat, boosting your defense, and you gain proficiency in that saving throw. Saving throws are one of the most solid, save or suck effects in the game. When a creature is going to hit you with a powerful spell or a powerful effect, it is your saving throw that will be the determiner of whether you survive 9 times out of 10. Constitution saving throws not only help you resist a lot of deadly effects, but also are the thing that help you concentrate on your spells. Having proficiency in your save buffs that save by your proficiency bonus. So now instead of rolling a 2 or so on your con saves, now you're boosting it by a 6 or a 7. And when you pair this with the Warcaster feat and double up both the proficiency and the advantage, you're basically never going to lose your concentration. But either one of them is solid, and Resilient Constitution also buffs the stat, meaning that if you put a 15 in your constitution or even a 13, and you need to round it up to that even number to boost your numbers, this is a great feat for that. And honestly, the only reason that I don't say this feat would go great on every build is because, well, a lot of builds start with proficiency in Constitution. Clerics don't, so there's that. Anyway, between the defensive features, the offensive features, and the quirky features, these are my recommendations for all clerics to consider. Obviously, boosting your wisdom, boosting your strength, boosting your constitution just by 2 when you hit these levels is never a bad pick. And some games don't even use feats. It's a dungeon master option, but most of them do. So knowing what your best options are and what can really change the way that you play and boost the way that you play is really important when you're playing D&D. This has been the Relaxed Fantasy Review. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe down below. Have a look for the join button down there, and keep your eyes peeled for more feat reviews coming down the line soon. Have a good one, my friends.